Hey, everybody. I hope y'all are doing all right. Doing all right. This is Will Horn, of course. We are streaming live tonight on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. Tonight, I'm really very, very excited. We are getting ready for the official launch of the Shake the Table podcast. And so, what we're doing as we are counting down the days is we're going to be having some of our special guests coming on with us, just so that you can get to know them a little bit, get a little bit of inspiration, hear some different voices that are still speaking from the realm of spirit, and getting ready to do this work. And I'm so excited that tonight we have a very, very special guest that's going to be joining us. Man, this guy has really been an inspiration to me. He's a millennial. You know, I'm Gen X, so I always have to say millennial like he's a young person, but he is amazing in terms of his wisdom and his business acumen. He is really graced for what he does. And so tonight we're not going to be on long, maybe 15 or 20 minutes. This is just a little snippet, a little snapshot. But I want to introduce you to someone that I think is going to be really life-changing in your life. His name is Marc Coley. And if you stand on by for just a second, I'm going to play a little bit of a clip and let you hear a little bit of this brother. Here we go.
Now, I want you to see it. I see a few smiles coming on a few faces because you're really seeing it. Who is there? Think about it. Who's there? Who's there? Who's there? Who's there? Who's around you? Who can you not wait to share this good news with? For some of you, it's a house. For some of you, it's money. For some of you, it's a breakthrough that you've been praying for. What would life be like if you had that very thing right now? Fix it in your heart right now. Because the moment that you got a vision of it, it became reality. The moment that you saw it, you can open your eyes now. Some of y'all done got lost. It was real, right? You started to see it, right? It's the same thing as when you were a kid and you were using your imagination to create reality. Look around this room really quickly. Look at everything. Look at your phone. Look at the paper. Look at the cameraman. Look at every single thing. Look at the clothes that you're wearing.
This brother is absolutely amazing. His name is Marc Coley, and he is an Atlanta-based author. He's an award-winning coach. He's a keynote speaker. And Marc has really dedicated himself to empowering entrepreneurs and leaders through his unique blend of spirituality and his business acumen. He's a military man, just like me. He's got 7 years in the Navy. He actually served on the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower. And what he has done is really taken his experiences and used them to really inform his approach on how he emphasizes the significance of mindset shifts. And those of you here on Shake the Table know that we talk about that if you're going to see it in your life, you got to first see it in your mind. Marc Coley is also the founder of the Marc Coley Business Academy. And in doing this, he's amassed all kinds of awards and accolades. Currently, he actually hosts a program called Mastering Life with Marc Coley, which is a weekly spiritual community that explores what he calls destiny spirituality and fosters personal and spiritual growth. And he just really helps to inform the people regarding their business practices and so forth, and how they can go about achieving success in their life and in their business. And so I'm so excited to bring to you all today my brother Marc Coley. If you would put your hands together, clap it up for him. He is. Brother Marc Coley, it's good to see you, man.
What's up, Will? Thank you so much for having me here for the official launch of Shake the Table, the podcast. I'm proud of you.
I appreciate that, man. This it means the world to me. And I want to say this to you, table shakers out there. Tonight, we're really doing a couple of things. We are introducing you to Marc, and we're also I told Mark he was my guinea pig. We're also playing around with this new platform. Don't
Yeah.
y'all like this? Isn't this
Yes.
nice?
Yes.
This is really nice. And so we're gonna work out the kinks tonight.
Mhm.
We're gonna get in here and feel it real good. But more than anything, I'm just so excited that we are finally to the place where on Thursday, this coming Thursday, Shake the Table, the podcast is going to be premiering. And again, Mark is going to be one of our very first guests. And I wanted to make sure that you heard this brother on tonight. So, Mark, welcome, man. Tell me a
Thank
little
you.
bit about yourself.
Of course. Every time somebody reads my bio, I'm always like, who is that? You know, because people have a way of reading bios, especially if you're a little churchy, you put a little pizzazz on it, you know, make you start feeling yourself a bit. And so a little bit about me, of course, you said I'm a military guy. But interesting enough, I went to the military, not necessarily to serve my country or to travel, not even get the benefits. I went because I was working on a business at that time and I needed additional revenue to come in to support that business. And so I actually signed up for the military because I needed a paycheck to reinvest in myself. But that decision was one of the best decisions that I made for my life as it pertains to my growth, because it got me out of my comfort zone. It removed me from as scripture say, I'll take you to a place that I'll show you. That was my show you place, and I didn't even know it in the beginning. So the military for me was eye-opening. It expanded me. It helped me to grow outside of what I was accustomed to, and that's a product of who I am today. I've done a lot of things, not to toot my own horn, but I've done a lot of things in a short period of time, and what I know best is that where I am now, serving in my purpose, is one of the greatest feelings ever. It's like finally getting that shoe that finally fits, and using all of the things that you've experienced in life and using that in your moment of divinity or in your moment of destiny, and just getting that overwhelming feeling like I'm doing the right thing,
I
So yeah.
love that, man. I love it. And I love the fact that you had the presence of mind to really understand the thing that you were called to.
Yeah.
Uh, and clearly, it's kind of a unique thing because I've been following you now for a little over 2 years, and I
Yeah.
watch what you do, and you're like this hybrid. You're
Wow.
you're not just a coach, but I have never told you this, but I'm gonna tell you this now for
Yeah.
all these people. It's like you're an apostle to the
Mm,
business world.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that. I don't know how else to explain it. And so it's like all of that grace, all of that anointing, all of that power, and all of that you have, you bring that into what you've been called to do. And so
Mhm.
how did you decipher that? How did you not end up, with a collar and a
Yeah.
cross in a church? How did that how
Listen,
did that work?
the fact of the matter is that you just so effortlessly you just spoke that word like it was nothing, because I've heard that so many times. Like I have a friend of mine who he calls me the apostle of the marketplace. And so
Mhm.
just hearing you use that exact term, and then before that you saying the terminology of hybrid, those are words that I've literally used to describe myself. And even today I was thinking, I was going to make a post about it, but I just changed my mind. I was like, what I've mastered is how to evolve as
Mm.
times change, as the demands of the marketplace change. I've learned how to evolve. But let's go back to your question. That was one of the hardest seasons of my life, of trying to merge spirituality, my love of God, and with business, because I was emerging in a time where you was actually taught by the gurus that business and your spiritual walk is supposed to be separate. And so I didn't see anybody online. Doesn't mean they didn't exist. I just wasn't privileged to see people who were
Mm.
effectively, because I saw people doing it, but there was a certain level of the way I wanted to do it. You had people that were either very skilled at the business side and they just sprinkle their spirituality here and there inside of the conversation. And then you had people who were super spiritual, super religious, and they really didn't have that business backing. Like they knew the talk of, you supposed to be starting a business, God called me. But when you start to dissect the business that they had, you were like, okay, this kind of a little raggedy. So I couldn't find anybody who was skilled at both. And so I had to become that individual. And yeah, it was a difficult time because, you know, when anytime you merge spirituality in something, people often think, well, that's free, right? That's free.
Mm, mm,
And I had to overcome that space in my, I guess, soul, my spirit, where I could profit from the call on my life, even if it's connected to my spirituality, because my spirituality is a gift. And I've just mastered how to package that gift and to teach and to educate and to also motivate. You know,
mhm.
people think about motivation and inspiration. Oh, well, that's free to motivate people. No, that pulls from me.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
takes from me. Those 7 years I spent in the military, them nights, them experiences, I pull lessons from that. So yeah, you gotta pay me from that experience that I experienced so that I could masterfully teach you what I'm needing to teach you. So you don't have to bump your head. That's why Jesus talked in parables, because I need to simplify this experience for you. So me simplifying it, that's what you're paying for.
Wow. I
Yeah.
love it, man. And see, the thing that I love so much, and one of the reasons that I need these table shakers to know you, is that so many of us in this community are in that same place,
Yeah.
that in the middle, that this and that, and
And
trying
that.
to bring it together in a way maybe that they've never seen it before.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and we've got to be able to trust the God in us. We've got to be able to trust our own intellect and our own experiences to be able to bring that unique thing together
Such
that
a
God
unique.
has given each of us to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so you're an example of that, and you're out there doing it.
Yeah.
uh
Yeah.
and the truth is not only do we need to see that example, some of us need the actual tactile ABCs and
Yes.
one, two, threes
There you go, bro.
that you
Yes.
provide. Because all of
Yes.
the, you can huck a Messiah and believe
Yes.
God, you know what I'm saying, and all of that. But if you don't have somebody to mentor you and teach
Mhm.
you what you need to do, then you're spinning your wheels. And so I know a lot of table shakers, man, when
Yeah.
they really get to know who you are, they're going to be a part of that Marc Coley, Business Academy
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
They're going to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
So I want to say this as well, Mark, because again, I've said to you, I've said actually in a post before that just me being able to stand over and just watch you, man, has been very inspirational for me.
Thank you.
uh, and just text messages and little reminders and things
Yeah.
like that that have kept me accountable have been a part of
Mm.
Shake the Table, the podcast, coming
Yes.
to fruition. And so I
Yes.
just want to say thank you, man.
Thank you.
uh, and table shakers, y'all don't even know, but there's been people in the
Listen.
background
Thank you. Thank
that
you.
have
Thank
been
you. I remember running across your profile on social, now that you say that, and it has been about 2 years. And same, I connect with people that I believe, even if it's just social media, going to add some layer or level of value to me. And I think I don't know how I ran across your post. It was probably somebody sharing it or something, but I ran across it and then I started looking at the content on your page because every now and then somebody will look up and have one good post and it brings people in, but they ain't really how they think consistently. And
right.
so I followed you for a while. I was like, oh no, he's smart. That wasn't a I guess I stole a post. It wasn't any of that. It was literally the information. Then I landed on your Shake the Table. And I'm like, yo, bro, this is a different type of guy. Like
Mm,
you just didn't possess the you know how people have the gift of stirring you. They can say it a certain way, just that you already naturally have that. But behind that was the education, that was the value, and that's essentially what I heard when I started to listen to you. I'm like, no, bro, this needs to be something bigger. It needs some structure to it so you can reach more people, because there are so many people assigned, as we were talking about before we even got on, so many people assigned to your voice. And we're just going to harness the power of technology to put the hook in and will them on in. You know what I'm saying?
right.
But you have that gifting, like you years of school and doing stuff that most of us would not commit to doing. So we know that this is your work, and we know that this is going to be blessed, and we know that it's going to thrive because it's supposed to. It has to. You
Wow.
are required. Yeah.
Wow. I
Yeah.
receive that. Let me lift up my hands.
Yeah.
I
You
receive
are
it.
required. You
I
are required.
receive it.
Your work is required.
I
And
receive it.
you know, we were talking about, you asked me about how, and I didn't answer that question, but how I didn't end up with a collar. Initially, years ago, I was ordained as a pastor. So I've always known that I was a pastor, but I didn't see any examples of the pastoral calling that I was ultimately going to walk into. And so I tried twice, well, actually three times to start a church. First one was in Virginia. I had my assistant at that time. We was out looking for buildings. Now, even then, I was a forward thinker. So I was coming up with some crazy ideas of how we were going to actually get into this church and grow it. My faith was big. That didn't pan out. I tried again, and this time it was going to be strictly online. That didn't pan out. Then I tried once more a few years ago. Same thing. It didn't pan out. And I said, okay, God, I've tried 3 times to do this. I've tried, and I've had people come up to me and say, you ain't gonna really prosper until you walk in that calling that you're running away from. I was like, I know, I'm trying. I'm trying to start a church. And in that time frame, Will, God gives me this idea that I had years before that I actually did, which was a prayer line. And so years ago, I had started a prayer line before any of that. And I was running that prayer line. It was small, it was conference calls before, you know, all the technology that we have. And God called me back to that prayer line. And I said, man, this is 2020. Ain't nobody checking for no line and people praying. We ain't doing that no more. That's old school. But it was through that and through the other ideas that I had that I saw my calling as a pastor stand up, because I was wondering why I was so protective of people inside of their businesses. I was wondering why I was so adamant about them succeeding and actually pouring into people, not as a coach, but almost this hybrid of a person who is spiritually connected to you, but also connected to your prosperity in the development of your call, which is in the marketplace. And I was like, even then, I didn't know what was I was being led by, but I just knew I'm called to shepherd these people. And I
Mm,
have so many examples of that. So while my collar is not the collar of what we expect in the Pentecostal movement, I still wear my collar every Monday because people consistently come back to the same call that I've been doing for 4 years. And though it's not called a church, it operates just like one because I cover those people. They are connected to my voice. So it's just interesting how God will allow you to emerge to become that thing that is missing, that missing link, that puzzle piece where this didn't fit, that didn't fit, but that middle part, something different about how it's shaped, that it fit perfectly in that.
that's true apostolic work, man. It's
Mm-hmm.
true apostolic work. Mark, thank you, man, for being
Yeah.
on with me tonight. Thank you for just sharing your voice with us on tonight. I cannot wait for us to do
Yes.
a full episode because we're going to really dig in. We're going to really
Listen,
talk about some things and we're going to push this thing forward, man.
we're gonna shake
Table
the table.
shakers, if y'all would put your hands together for Brother Pastor Reverend Dr. Mark
Reverend
Coley.
Dr. Pastor.
And we're going to make
I appreciate
sure
it.
that we get Mark's information posted and everything because you need to be following this brother.
I
You need to
appreciate it.
see what he's up to. And we're going to be
Yeah.
checking back in with him. Mark, we'll see you later, man. Okay.
Thank you. See you guys next time.
Okay. Table shakers, man, listen, we're just 5 days away. I don't know if you can feel this energy, but it is palpable. We are 5 days away from the Shake the Table podcast launch. And so every day up until the actual launch date, I need you to meet me right here at 7:30. Facebook Live, Instagram Live, YouTube Live. For all of my IG and YouTube people that are on tonight, this is my first time going live. So I'm so glad that you're with me. But we're going to be here at 7:30 p.m. Central Time every night this week. Tomorrow, I've got another amazing guest for you. She is an incredible woman. She's absolutely beautiful. I'll post the flyer tonight so you guys will get to see it. But you got to hear her as well. And then actually, I didn't really think about it, but I got two more ladies that I'm going to be introducing to you on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then on Thursday, my first guest, y'all just got to tune in. I'm not even going to tell you who it is, but my first guest on Thursday is what I meant to say is going to be phenomenal. This Shake the Table podcast really has God's hand on it. And I just want to thank you all so much for your prayers. Thank you for your support. Again, look, I told y'all this is guinea pig stuff, right? So I need to show you this. Look at this. Look at this. I'm doing all of this stuff all by myself. The Shake the Table podcast is coming up on Thursday. And again, I need y'all to be here at 7:30. Until that time, know that I'm loving on you. I'm praying for you. I'm so excited to be on this journey with you. And so again, see me tomorrow right here at 7:30. Y'all take care.